look, what happened here in your perspective?
Well, what happened was this morning I woke up and found out that Walmart is accepting Litecoin. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then it turned out to be fake. So we didn't have a partnership. The thing is with Litecoin, a decentralized cryptocurrency, anyone can really start supporting it and accepting it without talking to me or without going through the Litecoin Foundation. So what happened was this news got released by global Newswire and Reuters. And one of our social media guys saw it and actually thought it was true because it was reported by Reuters. And he retweeted it. And then 15 minutes later, he immediately saw that it was a fake news. So he deleted that tweet.
Now, are there any efforts to make whoever is behind this accountable? Like if this was a pump and dump effort, can you track who's behind this or somehow track the trader who was involved?
I guess it's possible. I'm sure Global Newswire is in contact with the person who submitted this news report, so they can try to figure out who did it. In terms of us as Litecoin Foundation, there's not much we can do. I mean, people can release fake news for cryptocurrencies all the time. Actually, this happens with traditional stock market also. So it's not just in cryptocurrency.
Global Newswire did just come out with a statement saying they're enhancing authentication steps after the fake release. They will work with authorities on a full probe. They say the incident was, quote, isolated, never happened before. You know, Litecoin itself, you know, as you said the release was fake, said the quotes were fabricated, said someone on the social media team got a little too eager when they retweeted this. But Litecoin did pop big time on this quote unquote news, now that we know it's fake news. To those who might suspect someone on your end is responsible, what would you say?
I mean, it's definitely not anyone on our end. Litecoin being a decentralized cryptocurrency, pretty much it's anyone can, if they want the price to pump, they can potentially release these fake news. So I'm going to deny it that it has anything to do with us, and we'll try our best to figure out who did it, and we will stop fake news from spreading.
What internal compliance changes are you making as a result of today's events?
Well, we realize how powerful our Twitter handle is, right? So we want to make sure that we don't retweet fake news. We want to double check and make sure it goes through some checks before we actually tweet anything. So that's something we definitely have to improve on.
Litecoin is still very volatile generally. How much is it actually used in payments today? What are you doing to encourage future use in payments? And I wonder, is this at all a setback?
Well, Litecoin is used quite a bit for payments. I mean, it's not as popular as Bitcoin per se, but it's used quite a bit. There's tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of merchants. It's hard to know exactly how many merchants support Litecoin. But we do know from on-chain transactions that about $3 billion worth of Litecoin is sent every day. So of course, not all of that is for payments. Some of it is people just moving the Litecoins around or to exchanges. But a lot of that is actually people paying for stuff using the Litecoin network because the transactions are fast and it's cheap and it just works. Litecoin has been around for almost 10 years now. Actually, next month is our 10-year anniversary. So over that span of 10 years, there's over $1 trillion worth of Litecoin sent over the network. So it shows that Litecoin is actually being used and it's pretty popular.
This isn't the first scam tied to crypto, certainly. You've also pointed out this isn't unique to crypto, but when it comes to equities, there are consequences. There's regulation. There are certain controls in place. How should the crypto industry handle these kinds of situations? What kinds of regulation do you think the SEC should bring to bear?
I think the decentralized crypto is a little bit different from stock, right? So the Litecoin Foundation is a nonprofit that's supporting Litecoin, but we didn't like print Litecoin. We didn't create Litecoins for ourselves. So unlike a company, for example, like Tesla, which has shareholders and the CEO has a lot of Tesla stock, if Elon Musk tweets something that pumps the stock, which he has done previously, it's really bad for the whole for the industry. Whereas for Litecoin Foundation, I mean, we try our best to not tweet fake news, and this time we really screwed up, and we will try harder to not do that. But because it's a decentralized cryptocurrency, we don't really benefit from pumping Litecoin. So there's no incentives for us to do that. And that's the way it works. I'm not sure what kind of more regulation it needs to be, but I definitely think having a stricter fact-checking policy for journalism is important in this case.
You liquidated much of your holdings in 2017 after criticism that your public opinions could affect the price. Is that still the case, that you have zero or negligible holdings in Litecoin itself to this day?
That's correct. I have maybe 20 or so Litecoins, maybe less, depending on what I use on a daily basis. And that's actually a good point, because this means that I have no incentive to do something like this. And it's really bad for this to happen, and we really need to look into it.
Now, you have a partnership with BitPay, and you have been working on getting wider adoption out there, getting more retailers to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment. What do you think the next level is here when, to be fair, there are scams, there is distrust, there's a lot of uncertainty around cryptocurrency that remains in general, and the skepticism could be a roadblock?
Yeah, so our partnership with BitPay, we've announced recently, they have over 1,000 merchants supporting crypto, and now they can easily accept Litecoin. So merchants like Newswire and Cheaper have started accepting Litecoin. And other than that, we also have a partnership with Turnmill. We launched the Litecoin card, which is a Visa card, where if you spend Litecoin, if you spend money at a merchant accepting Visa, you basically, your Litecoin will be exchanged on the spot for $1. And we're also working on launching that internationally. And lastly, PayPal launched Litecoin support last year. They have 375 million users and 29 million merchants. They also announced that they plan to let their merchants accept crypto and Litecoin later. So I expect to see a lot more merchants accepting Litecoin in the future, and a lot more people being able to easily buy Litecoin and spend it wherever they want.
So what are your priorities for the Litecoin Foundation for the rest of the year, especially given what has just happened?
Well, it's obvious that we now need to get Litecoin accepted at Walmart. That just became our #1 priority. Well, all joking aside, so last week we announced we got a new feature called Omni Lite to Litecoin, which lets user trade tokens and create tokens on top of Litecoin. This is the same technology that Tether uses on Bitcoin to support USDT. So we're talking to Tether to also potentially launch USDT on Litecoin. And OmniLite will also support NFTs soon. And lastly, one of the biggest upgrades to Litecoin is actually coming later this year. It's called MWeb, which adds fungibility to Litecoin. We're hoping that this upgrade will be accepted by the network and the users, and we'll see it live later next year, or earlier next year.